Subscribe now for the latest updates.
Japan's new Prime Minister, Shigeru Ishiba, is a military geek who builds model airplanes and once stayed up all night assembling an aircraft carrier model before meeting a Russian defense minister. This political maverick shocked everyone by winning the leadership race in September 2024, becoming Japan's new leader after years of failed attempts. Known for speaking his mind and challenging his own party, Ishiba isn't your typical politician. He reads 3 books a day and would rather dive into a good novel than schmooze with party colleagues. While other politicians are making deals in fancy restaurants, you might find him riding sleeper trains to his hometown or geeking out over military equipment. But don't let his quirky hobbies fool you. Ishiba is dead serious about Japan's future. He's pushing for an Asian NATO to counter China's influence and wants to revitalize Japan's rural areas that are struggling with aging populations. His path to power wasn't smooth. He lost 4 leadership races before finally winning on his 5th try. When he finally became prime minister, the stock market took such a hit they called it the Ishiba shock. Here's where it gets interesting. He's a Christian in a predominantly non-Christian country, but still visits Buddhist graves and Shinto shrines. He's also known for his brutal honesty about Japan's wartime past, saying the country needs to face its responsibilities. As prime minister, he's already shaking things up. He's the first Japanese leader in 30 years to need a runoff vote to get elected, and his party lost its majority for the first time since 2009 under his leadership. But he's not backing down. He's pushing for controversial policies like allowing married couples to keep separate surnames and considering same-sex marriage rights. Pretty progressive stuff for conservative Japan. The most fascinating part? When he was defense minister, he once said he'd mobilize Japan's military if Godzilla appeared. That's the kind of leader Japan has now. Someone who can joke about movie monsters while seriously discussing nuclear deterrence and economic reform. From building plastic models in his office to potentially rebuilding Japan's international relationships, Ishiba is definitely not your average prime minister. He's proving that sometimes the best leaders are the ones who don't fit the mold.